I'll be right there, people. Happy Christmas. I'll be right there, just about ready. Hello, everybody. How are you? I'm sorry to keep you waiting. It has been one of those days, let me tell you. But I forgot things and had to run back upstairs. And Mark, Gromit has been going out. My favorite dog has been going out into the woods and coming home we have a totally fenced yard, but it goes up into the woods. And he has been coming home covered in mud within our backyard. And today, Mark came down and said, look, and it was a jawbone with teeth. And I said, I think that's a dog's jawbone. I think somebody buried their dog in the yard at some point in the history. Gromit found it. So Mark's outside today hunting for unburied treasures. So anyway, hello everybody. Let me get some of this excess light off. So I hope you enjoyed looking at my snowmen. These were wooden color snowmen that I bought from a little country thread store 15 years ago, and they've been sitting waiting for me to do something with them. And I thought, this is the year. Whoa. Oh. Now they're trying to escape. All right, I'll move that shelf out of the way and bring you in closer. Oh, and good news on the arm front. Mark has found a very good camera arm that he thinks will work really well, and it's rated for 5 pounds. So hopefully I'll get it for Christmas, and then he'll install it, and I shouldn't have my camera drooping anymore. So let's hope. Okay, I'll bring you in just a little closer. Where's my big snowman? Where did he fall? It was going to be easier to show you my big boy, but I'm not sure where he fell. I know he was on there. Oh, well. Okay. I love how stuff like this happens when you're live. All right. So I took these little wooden snowmen and I painted them white. Okay. They were, well, you can't really tell because I even painted the bottom, but they were cute little wooden snowmen. And I thought, part of me, oh, here is the big snowman. Part of you feels like, well, gosh, I hate to paint over the wood. But then you realize, well, nothing will show up good. And when's the last time you saw a wooden snowman? So my practical sense won out. But anyway, so here is my biggest one, and this will stay here with me. I normally give away everything I make, but I'm starting to realize I want some of these things to look at. So what I did is I painted him white, 2 coats, and I just used regular acrylic, in fact, one of the bottles of acrylic I bought recently. Then I took some, I had all these tiny little buttons, but then I found these things that I had bought from I love going to little country stores where they have stuff that's been there for 30 years or 50 years. And they were these little adhesive, supposedly jewels maybe, but I thought they made really good lumps of coal. And now this one's bigger, so then I took little tiny buttons and made a mouth. But the rest of them, there was no room to put a mouth. So that was fine with me. Then I took my scraps of wool and cut what looks like a scarf and wrapped it around. Then this nose, it's firm now, but I just took a triangle of orange felt, put a little hot glue in it, and gave it a moment to cool down just a little, and then rolled it with my hands back and forth, and then glued it on. So that was an easy way to make a carrot. And if I got it knobby, so much the better. Then I took those same little stick-on things, but I had to hot glue them, because what I found is just the adhesive wouldn't do the job. So I had to peel the adhesive off and then hot glue them. But then with the eyes, I took a white paint pen and did a little dot in each of their eyes, and it really makes a difference. I wanted to show you the difference between eyes with a white dot and eyes without. So I tried to do them all different colors, like for the little thing band around their hair. And then what I'll do is I made the hole in the top of them a little bit bigger. I've got some ribbon coming from Joann Fabrics in a mail order that I put in the other day, and I will give them individual little ribbons. I think I have 12 of these, 11 or 12. And then I found a wooden Christmas tree. Now this is only started. I put the first coat of green. What I'm going to do is take a paintbrush with just a few bristles and really try to doll this up. Then when I'm all done with that, I'll put a sealer on it, and then I'm going to hot glue little tiny bright colored beads on it as the ornaments, and then figure out how to make a little star for the top. So this is my favorite time of the year, because this is when I can play like a kid. And when my family opens these up, they'll say, "Oh, Mom, you're so creative." And I won't tell them I've just been sitting playing with paints and scissors. But I love this stuff. I love it. So this is my favorite time of the year because I get to play. And I love, I've had those sitting around wondering what to do with them. And I'm kind of, I'm realizing Mark's going to retire in probably 2 years. At some point, we want to move because we want to get closer to either a big lake or the ocean. And I've heard because of global warming, there's a real good deal waterfront property. So, but we're going to want to move closer. And I thought, I'm not taking all this stuff, so I'm going to use it up. And anyway, so I think I'm here. I'm trying to relax a little bit. I was really rushing. It was just too much at the last minute. One of the things I was doing, yesterday Mark took me to the grocery store with him. First time I've been grocery shopping, except for running in the last week for a piece of meat from Food Lion. But it's the first time I've done real grocery shopping in 3 years. Mark's been doing it all during the pandemic, especially once I had my cancer and surgery and stuff. And I will tell you this. He said, when I take you shopping, we spend a whole lot more money. I do things like, grab a couple bags of edamame in the pods. Because when you're trying to cut back and lose some weight, any food you find that can slow you down eating or you can play with it a little is a good thing. And I love those edamame in a pod because I just take and run them, on my teeth and get the little bean out. And it takes me a long time to eat them, and that's a good thing. And then I found lima beans. Oh, I love lima beans. And so and he doesn't like them, so he always says, I don't see them. Well, you have to kind of look, kind of hunt and peck for where are the lima beans. But I found them. So, and I did get, I'll confess, I did get a pack of, those Girl Scout cookie Samoas, those with the coconut and stuff. But I'm not going to eat them until after my next doctor's appointment. Because, I'm working hard and I'm not going to set myself back with cookies, And then I got some Reese's Christmas trees. That's for my Christmas stocking. I'm going to be really good until Christmas. So let's see who's here. But I know what I was going to tell you. I wrote the final directions for our Christmas block of the week. So the final directions, the last 2 patterns of snow globes are now on our Groups IO. For anyone who doesn't have, it's not on our Groups IO yet, and you don't have the final directions, send me an email. I'll make sure you have everything you need to finish the quilt. Because this is where I go in and discuss the sashing, the cornerstones, the scalloped border, it's a double border in one piece. So I discuss all of that, and then I tell you, what do I do to finish off the globes themselves? What, all of that nitty gritty is in here. So I do have it, and I did put it on site. Now, if you're here, watch quickly. I'm going to show you this in a rush because I want it to still be a little bit of a surprise for next week. I know we're doing the block of the month, and I wasn't going to get involved in several different big projects and all that. And it's not a big project. You'll see why I chose it. But you're going to have to look quickly because I'm not going to hold it up long. Just long enough. Reese's Pieces, you like those, Debbie? I love those Christmas trees and the eggs because the more peanut butter, the better. Although my doctor would probably say, just eat it, peanut butter out of your jar, okay? But if you're ready, look closely. You'll get an idea for what kind of fabrics and colors that I want you to gather up for next week. And we'll work on this next week. And if you have your stuff gathered up, you'll have the top put together next Sunday. Are you ready? Ooh, yes. Look what I found on the web. Okay, that's all you get. Now, so go look for a black background, about 2 feet by 30 inches, or dark midnight blue, really dark, then look for jewel tones. And you don't need much of them, okay? I will work up some patterns so that you can easily cut out the trees. But if you were looking, you'll notice that jewel tones with the dark background, if you want to use sherbet summer colors, that's great. But I love what made that look so fabulous was the dark background and the jewel tones. So did you see that? Did you see that? So, and it's going to be easy. If you have fusible, then I'll get the pattern out early enough this week that you can have all your trees fused onto things. So we just work on placement. And one of the things they have, some of the trees that overlap, they have a lighter color where they overlap. So if you want to make that, give it that extra little sparkle, then if you get a deep teal, get a lighter teal. You're only going to need a little bit of it. And I'll make up the patterns and have them for you by midweek. Okay? By Wednesday. Yeah. At the latest Thursday. The dogs need to be groomed tomorrow, and I've got to take them in, pick them up. We got to go get our Christmas tree Tuesday. So Wednesday or Thursday, I'll have the pattern for you. If you aren't a member of our group yet, you can always drop me an email at, I bet you Carol will have this if she's still here. Oh, look at her. Thank you, Miss Carol. Carol just wrote on there our address. If you send me an email, I will respond back with you with the pattern for next week's goodies. But listen to this. You just need a solid background. You just need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 thin strips of trees. Probably no more than 2.5-inch strips. If you have a jelly roll, it's a good time to use it. So just gather up the fabrics. Once I send out the pattern, then you just draw out on your fusible so it's ready. And if you know what your fabrics are going to be, you can go ahead, because I think they're pretty much all the same size. Would you like me to show you the picture one more time? I will show it to you one more time. Jelly roll, hint, hint. One more time. Are you ready? Okay, be looking. It's not going to last long. Is that just the cutest thing? And then all you have to do is fuse it on. It's that simple. And then if you fuse it well and it's lightweight fabric, you can just quilt it over, or if you want to, you can do a little stay stitch, raw edge applique, easy. So, do you think it's something you might want to try? If you're too busy and right now you're cussing at me through the camera, I understand. Don't feel pressured. But when I find an easy peasy project like that, I get excited. I can't help myself. No wonder I'm always exhausted after Christmas. When my kids were little, I always got sick after Christmas because I pushed myself so hard. One year when my former marriage, when the kids were just little, they would make wonderful placemats. You just downsize it. Oh, that'd be wonderful and so easy. If you get this ready during our show, you'll have it made. The top will be done. And if you're like me, hang up the top for Christmas, quilt it later. Nobody really cares. True, it's true. They're just like, wow, you did that? But anyway, going back to when I was young and foolish, and my kids were 4 and 2, and we were getting ready to move to Maryland for a job offer, trading from one Navy base to another. because we weren't military, but we were Defense Department, you know. We had no money. He was living up there until I could sell the house and get moved down here. So we had no money. That's the year I made a cabbage patch for each of my daughters and for my little nephew. That's the year I made wooden rocking horses. Yes, I had the neighbor next door. When I drew it on the wood, I had him cut it out. Then I sanded everything, stained it, finished it, put hair, drilled holes for the hair and the mane and tail. Didn't quite ever finish those, but I got the horses ready. What else? We made wooden blocks, just taking 2x4 wood and cutting it into different block shapes. That, and you know what? That was so satisfying to me. You know, I made those things out of necessity, but it turned out to be some good memories. So, and my kids still remember. Now, if you're going to make a wooden horse, make sure you make the base a little wider than the boards because they tipped easily. You had to watch out for the kids in that. But those are some of my great memories. But I used to push myself like that. And Christmas Eve night, I mean, wrapping, because Santa wrapped everything, and wrapping everything till 4 or 5 in the morning. And every year I used to have a meal and they would come up and stay for a couple days. No wonder I got sick after every Christmas. I was a crazy woman. So, but luckily I'm a little bit smarter, little bit, not totally, but a little bit smarter. Let me grab, I'm sorry, I'm drinking a cola today, but I needed the caffeine. I was tired. So, I'm not telling you how much we spent at the grocery store, but it was twice the normal amount. Now, in all fairness, it was at the Walmart. Normally, Mark likes to shop at a different local store. I won't name the name, Harris Teeter, but anyway, but we decided to go to Walmart because that's where we stock up on soaps and cleaning supplies and canned goods and things like that. So, anyway, we did pretty good. Is it a Pepsi? No comment. No comment. Since my husband works for Pepsi, we love Pepsi products. In fact, yesterday I snuck in a bag of Fritos into the grocery cart. But anyway, so you shop at Lowe's Foods? Yeah, so it was, I tell you what, I got a good chance to see that, yeah, the prices are going up. But what I just read the other day that our economy is going strong. It's really looking good. The new jobs report was out, and they said we're doing better than like the European bloc countries who've gone through the same thing with us. So cross your fingers. Gas prices were down. Cross your fingers. But anyway, just to tell you, oh, that's sweet. You know, my former grandmother-in-law had the cutest story. She, on Fridays when her husband worked at the shipyard in Portsmouth, Virginia, and he'd be walking home, and he would stop and get her a soda, and that was back in the glass bottles, and he'd wrap it in a rag, and the dog would always come to meet him at the closest place that he got off work. He would hand the dog the soda, and the dog would carry it home to her. Is that the sweetest story? I just love that. All right, so Amazon Man came, and I have been looking at these plaids. Oh my gosh, what are they called? Buffalo, the buffalo print plaids. I have been looking at them, but I don't want to go in every store. I'm still trying to be careful and not catch COVID. And so I've been looking around. And to buy fabric online, at some places where it's inexpensive, you have to buy 2 yards of each one online. At another place, you had to buy 1 yard of each kind. let me grab, I want to grab something real quick. I'll let you be right back. I want to show you what I'm going to do with them. Okay. Oh, now it's got, I turned on the heat down here because this is a walkout basement, so it stays chilly. Well, now the heater's pulling me out of here. So let me get my fan going. Oh, yay. Okay. I have glass balls or plastic balls I bought, but this year I wanted some of these paper mache balls. So I found they were like maybe $1 a piece. Now I might have even gotten them cheaper than that because I'm pretty cheap. And I thought, how cool to have these covered with the plaid prints, then put a twine hanger on them. So this is where get creative, ladies. Get creative. I'm being cheap and not wanting to tell Mark that, I would have to buy 10 yards of fabric to just decorate some paper cardboard balls. I found this on Amazon, and I think it was like $9.99, and it has all kinds of plaid fabrics, and it's made just for this kind of thing. If you want an assortment to do decorating with, oh, see that? I am handling fabric. I don't think the person was a smoker because I'm deathly allergic to cigarette smoke. But you know how fabrics come with coatings and stuff on them? That's why I try to wash things. But look at this. This to me, I mean, what kind of fun is this going to be? And it will glue onto here so easily. And then I just take some sprigs of artificial holly or some berries and put a bow on it. It'll be a really sweet gift. So I got this in, and I'm very, very excited. Trying to remember how many squares they were. Made in China. There's 15 designs, but I think 30 pieces. 15 designs, 2 pieces of each design. I read all of that because I realized that 1 was not going to be enough. So what I'm going to have to do is cut them very carefully, and 2 should cover them. Now, let's say you make a boo-boo and 2 don't cover them. Put something else on the back. Nobody's going to care. People do enjoy getting homemade stuff. So, oh, hi.
Your guys are here to spread this stuff, so I'm going to be with them.
Oh, good. Thank you. And 5 come up here, and they've got to just do the front areas. Like, don't go way up under the tree.
5 on the driveway, 65 around the house. They're not going to do in the back at all.
No.
They're just going to do the front beds, the front part, and the front cross.
Sorry about that, Mark. I don't know how he snuck in. I didn't see him. I was so focused on y'all. Every other year, we get 65 bales of pine straw because we have this hill, and neither Mark and I are in the shape to spread 65 bales of pine straw on a hill. And we found that there was so much erosion that if we didn't use the pine straw, we were losing soil down the hill, and nothing was growing because the really wonderful topsoil was just washing down the hill. We're big believers in keeping the fall leaves. He blows them all into the flower bed, get a nice pile of fall leaves, then cover it with some nice pine straw, or y'all might call it pine needles. And that way, when the leaves break down, you get a really nice loamy, like a compost material underneath your pine straw. And we got the proof everything is growing like mad out there. So the soil is real happy. But we had it delivered Tuesday, Oh, that's a great idea, Polly, to plant ornamental, anything to stop that water from washing stuff off. But we had it delivered Tuesday, and we were like, okay, where are the people that are supposed to spread it? Because I told Mark, honestly, if the people don't come to spread it, then guess what? I don't know what to do with 65 bales of pine straw because I even tried one year paying my daughter to do it. I paid her well. She goes, I'm never doing that again. So it gets expensive, but it's safer than Mark trying to get a lawnmower on that hill. And we do it every other year now, so it makes it a little less. But anyway, I just telling you all that because Mark was standing here and it was like, but I get so wrapped up in talking to y'all, a bomb could go off and I wouldn't know it. All right, I have been meaning to come and see. Oh, good for you, Mary, because I see people like they put them out in piles on the street, but they're living right there with woods. With big wooded ravines. It's like, no, put them down there and let them do what nature intended them to do. But if you have a kind of property where you're like, we have over an acre here, but if you have a small property, yeah, you definitely, then what do? But what we also do is run a composting mower over them, grinds them down to nothing, put them in your flower beds. So, but anyway, okay. Let's see. All right. So Polly's here. Meltem. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize Meltem's here. She's my new friend from Turkey. And oh, wait till you'll see. We'll get ready and do show and tell early because I know that Meltem is at a time period much later. And oh gosh, I hope she's still here. Hello. But she sent me some of her work and wanted to know if she was good, had any talent. She has tons of talent. In fact, let me see. Has she said whether she's still here? Oh, of all the days for me to be late. Oh, boy. Oh, my gosh. Lisa Capon is here. Oh, you sweetheart. Yeah, Lisa Capon's getting ready to do an exciting project in January. And she's so wonderful. Her designs are so good, but she's so good with her instructions. If you go to Lisa Capon Quilts, she's already got the instruction sheet, the fabrics. Although I think that, Lisa, I went to the site you recommended, the Marshall's Dry Goods, and I think they're running out of your colors. So people, if you want to do Lisa Capon's project, start looking for fabric now, okay? Because I think she's got so many people doing it, they bought out Marshall's Dry Goods. All right, so I'm going to show, just in case Meltem is here from Turkey, I want to show her pictures. This woman has already developed a signature. And understand, I want, one day I'm going to have a signature. But okay, here we go. But Turkey is not really actively involved in quilting like we are here. And so she's kind of a renegade over there. And so I would like to do some jitsies, like a Zoom, and invite her so we can answer some questions for her. But now that's very nice, right? Well, watch. She has a hard time even getting supplies. So I think, oh, now I feel guilty. This quilt is an improv style. And look at her with her big sewing. She's up on a lot of the new things. But this was supposed to capture the innocence and purity of our youth when we take time to just sit and blow bubbles. But look at her. Is this amazing? This is wonderful. I love your work. Okay, let's go to her next one. Look at this. Is this she wanted to bring attention to water pollution and what we're doing to the beautiful animals that we love. Now look at that. Do you see what I mean about she has a signature already? So that's going to be something. A signature is where you have a look when you make a quilt, you have a look that people can say, I know whose quilt that is. And that is invaluable in the quilting world because, it shows that you have a purpose and a vision and you've honed in on what you do best. And with a person like me, I'm all over the place. I love it all, and I haven't yet zoned in too much, not enough, I should say, on to make my signature. Our Jody has a signature. Her signature is her amazing portraits. Then Dolores has a signature, her amazing animals, realistic animals, and thread painting. I could go on and on with each you who I have commented. You've got a signature. So sorry to do that out of line, but knowing that Turkey is probably 8 to 9 hours ahead of us, she would be watching in the middle of the night. So, I hope you got to see it. If not, I know she'll see it on the repeat. Oh, so good to see her. I told her I'm so excited because I feel like she's got something to teach us. And that's what I love about this internet and this big world is there's so much talent out there. There are so many ideas, and it means that we can teach each other. And isn't that the way it should be? So I'm thrilled. So that was for Miss Melton. And then Debbie is here. Dolores is here. I'm so glad I mentioned Dolores. She's here. Wait till you see some of the pictures she sent in. Marcia's always working, greeting all of our people. Betty Middleton, hi, sweetheart. Wow. What a sweet husband getting you that special machine. Woo. I think it was your husband. No, or was it Carol's? I think it was Carol. Carol's getting the new machine. Oh, boy. Okay, let's see. Who else? Miss Mary's here. Lisa, wait till you see our snow globe quilt. Oh, my gosh. Diana B. is here, and she's our designer, and she has done a spectacular job. I'm trying to think. I spend so much time sending that pattern out to everyone. But every time I do it, I have a smile on my face. So people are so excited. Michelle Lang is here. Oh, gosh, Polly Thompson's here. You spent $135 at the store for you and your husband? Okay, increase that by 4. And Carol's here. How wonderful to see Carol. And Carol has been a busy, busy lady. So if I got every Polly, Marcia, I hope. I'm so excited now. Some of the guests that we have that I'm like, But anyway, okay. I've got a quick little project to show you. And then a quick idea of something, okay? Because, this time of year, it's like, for me, it's all about what's the next different I don't like doing the same thing twice. I'm always looking for new ideas. All right, so this one, I'm just going to give you a quick little tutorial. With my droopy camera. If you're patient with me, I will be getting a new camera arm that can handle 5 pounds, so I'm excited. All right, so what I'm going to do is first, remember I showed you all this during our Thursday art quilt night? Oh, and speaking of art quilts, I'll show you what the art quilters and I are working on Thursday. And I've promised a couple people to do a new landscape starting our January 5th Thursday night show. So new landscape coming. And once again, y'all seem to like it when I make you a pattern. So that's what we're going to do. All right. Now, I put in a new Michaels order, an emergency order, because when I ordered these from somewhere else before, I didn't realize they were glass. And I've already broken 3 or 4. So I thought, these are dangerous. But anyway, this is the one I made first. And this was gluing the fabric on the back, and I've painted over it, but I've decided I want it prettier on the back. So I'm going to go take a different fabric and glue over that. Then what I'm going to do, let me show you this, is I will take some things, whatever I think will look pretty inside this ball, and I feel free to use this idea, any of you, but what I will do is then put sequins or whatever to look like little sprinkles, okay? Now, I don't want to put water in. That'll make it too heavy, okay? Oh, let me see. I'm sure Mary didn't say anything wrong. Oh, Melton is still on. Oh, yay! We are very happy to have Melton here with us. In fact, you won't believe I found a pattern. And I think it said Ottoman Empire or Ottoman floor tile. And I sent it to her because, you know, that Turkey was the Ottoman Empire. Constantinople, all of that. I said, that's an ancient culture. But anyway, so that's, you know, and I'm going to put, maybe I should put some glitter real quick because that shows up really good. But I love Christmas and I love decorating. And so let me see. Glitter can get out. Please be careful with glitter and don't let it go places you hadn't intended. Keep it reined in. Well, maybe the glitter's not easy to get out of here. Huh. I don't know. Let me try this one. I know this one will work. Yeah, here we go. But you can see how simple this is, okay? And you could put a little bit of like a clear floor polish, just dribble a little bit in so that some of the glitter and the sequins will stick to it. But I think it just makes something pretty, okay? What is... Ah, there you go. Oh, I forgot you were vegetarian. Not me. I gotta have myself some bacon and hamburgers. Oh gosh, that's why Polly looks so tiny and healthy and all that. Oh boy. All right, so I'm taking the tacky glue and I am rubbing it thinly. Do not put a thick layer. Put just a little bit on and keep brushing until you want it fully covered on the back, but you want it thin. So brush and brush and brush until you get it nice and thin. Then I've taken a poinsettia I've cut it out of the fabric, and I'm going to look here and decide which way I want it. And I'm thinking this looks pretty good. Now, whoops, I just put it on backwards. Let me carefully lift it off. Oh, dab. I'm going to carefully lift it off and put it back on. I forgot that it's going to show through the front once the glue has dried. Let me grab something. Okay. Let me just wipe the excess glue off. See, I tell you that I make all the mistakes so you don't have to. Yeah, and I'm sticking to that story. But here we go. Oh, okay. Here we go. Now, right now, the glue is a little white. but trust me, on the outside, it will dry. When I tried putting a piece of fabric on the inside, I could not get the glue to dry. But this one looked just the same until it dried. And now, it dried beautifully. So this is just an easy way to make something that's custom. You can't find something like this. Now, you could bring these around, but I don't like the way that looks. So what I'll do is once I know that all of the area I could is covered, okay, and I only bring the glue to halfway, then what I do is come here along the glue line. Now, I might let some of these flower petals go over, but the rest here, I will trim off. And that's another thing. I bought this fabric just for this purpose. It's a cheap fabric, so it's stiff, and that's perfect for this. And okay, and I have some fabric coming to make some of those folded stars out of fabric. And again, buy cheap fabric. Now I'll decide how far I want those little flowers. But let's say, okay, for right now, I want them. All right. So then I just put a little glue on the fabric only. Don't put it on the ornament right at this point. Just put it on the fabric. Now let's say you get it, it's a little bit sloppy and messy. Well, don't worry. You can then just take and clean it off. And you probably should use a wet paper towel to get every remnant of glue off. The one I had put on the inside that wouldn't dry, I was able to rinse it out, get the fabric back out of it. I was going to try to clean it up to reuse it, and I broke it. So how can you get, it was tough. Okay, I put some glue. I used a long-handled brush and tried to rub the glue all inside. Unfortunately, I kept bumping the top of it. It was frustrating me. Then I rolled up the fabric like a cigar and stuck it in there and then unfolded it using the handle of a paintbrush, but it never dried. I mean, I left it for a week and it never dried. This is already starting to dry. See how it's starting to get more and more see-through? But you can try like an acrylic sealer to do this. You can try a future floor wax, anything floor wax that'll dry clear, but you can do that. I will do some more glitter ornaments where you use like an acrylic sealer or floor wax, clear floor wax. But this is already starting to dry. Then you'll be left with a beautiful poinsettia, and you can put greenery inside. You can put bright colored beads or little pretend berries. Put a ribbon on it. There you go. So that's a fun thing to do. And it can be a little tedious cutting out the flowers. I love this one. And the more I shake it, the more static it just kind of, look how it clings to the surface. So it just makes it more magical. Isn't that neat? Yep, it does. Thank you. It does magnify the fabric. All right, so now let's go to the star of the show. And let me get the camera back in place. And you do notice what's hanging up behind me on the quilt, my rolling design wall. That is Mark's indigo quilt that I made him, the king size one. And I'm very proud to say, drum roll please, it is completely done, washed and dried, did not run. So the fabric that I dyed, I took the time to rinse it soak it in vinegar to neutralize, because when you do real indigo dyeing, it's very base, okay? So I soaked it in some vinegar water, which brought it back to neutral, which traps the dye in, and I washed it. So when you buy my 5-inch charm packs, which I still have plenty of, know that you can use them. We put a color catcher in just to make sure it came out. In fact, I had it somewhere. It came out white. It was like, yes. So I feel really good about selling fabric that I know that is color fast, unless something weird happens. So that's Mark's quilt. Then I want to show you real quickly. Remember I was making a sampler quilt so that when I go to events, I can take my charm packs of indigo fabric to sell and they can see how magical that indigo fabric looks. So I do have more of that for sale. If anybody is interested, it's $10 per charm pack. It is hand dyed with real indigo. Okay. Now, whoops, I better get something. Here is, let me do one thing real quick. Hold on. I forgot that, I got glitter and everything on this, but I didn't finish pressing. So let me, but I was hoping this week to have this completely done. But I said, well, I'll just show them again that if they want to save time and hassle and add a little excitement to the quilt, then they can get some of the Pellon 100 fusible vinyl to put on their quilt. All right, so let me get it. My iron is heating up. And I want to also thank Dolores, who gave me a wonderful idea on how to make sure that iron is unplugged before I leave the room. Because the last thing I want is a fire. And I can tell you what it is. She got a little set of fancy, or fairy lights, just a little set. Plugged them into the same thing that her iron's plugged into. And that way, if she leaves the room, if that light is still, she turns off the lights in the room and that light is still on, it reminds her to go back and unplug that iron. So what a great idea, Dolores. I've now passed it on for the greater good because, it's so easy just to forget. And this morning I was peeling stuff off my upstairs iron because I wanted to use it, but it still had the plastic. For those of you who might not have heard, I accidentally had my iron on, and I had polyester batting laying on top of it. I had a Jenny Beyer quilt laying on top of it. I had the plastic bag the polyester batting came out of laying on top of it. Yikes! Luckily, I was able to smell it, and all it did was just melt a little bit of that plastic bag. All right, now let me see. What I'm doing right now is I have used a Teflon sheet over the vinyl. This is Pellon 100 fusible vinyl, but you must never, ever touch your iron to the actual vinyl. Here is the product sheet off of it. Okay? Now, I know you didn't get to see all of me ironing this, but don't worry, you will. This is just so I just have to get this down so I can hold this up. Let me bring the camera at least down a little so you can see. So this is a Teflon sheet. I carefully peel it up to make sure that the vinyl stays on the globe. Okay? Carefully, carefully, carefully. I just realized I am a little short on this side with some of this vinyl. So I'm going to come in here. Let me see if I can get this up a little bit. I'm going to lay a piece of this vinyl that I just cut off and iron that again. Because I don't want to leave any gaps or opening. I'm going to be going around this and zigzagging it. So let me quickly place my iron back on that. All right, but you got to have a safe pressing sheet. Okay, let me come back. And when you first start to peel this back, do it very carefully because sometimes that vinyl wants to stick and you don't want to rip it off. But what I'm able to do is it saves me from time. I don't have to raw edge applique zigzag stitch down all of my snowman pieces. And what I do is I peel this off. It's still very malleable. So I just press it down onto the fabric while it cools to make sure it holds really, really good. And if there's a place like right along here where it's not quite fully down to the next fabric, then I just take this, come right back, put this down, and when I come back, I will touch that again with an iron. But, all right, now I can hold it up. So are you ready to see Miss Diana B's amazing design? And then I'll show you the last two that I'm going to decorate and vinylize. Here we go. Let me stand up and show you. Okay. This is our last Sunday with this amazing quilt. And we love this, Diana. We dearly, dearly love this. Now I'm going to come forward and show you each individual snow globe. And understand, I changed a couple of the little patterns, just added a little something, just because I wanted it to be mine. But, you know, it's beautiful as it was. Hold on, this camera's a little loose. I'll be glad when I get my new arm. I've got to promise Santa that I've been a very good girl. I deserve it. Okay. So, block number 1. Here is block number 1. Now, one thing I would do differently is the snow got on the sign. I don't know if I can get the snow to come off the sign a little bit better. But it says, let it snow. I did trapunto under the globe, so it puffs out quite a bit. I don't know if can you tell how it's puffy? That's block number 1 that Diana designed. Here's block number 2. Getting a little help from a friend here. Isn't that cute? Now, if I wasn't doing the vinyl on them, I wouldn't be able to put the glitter in. But you could still hot glue sequins and little snowflakes or little snowflake buttons. Here is block number 3. And this snowman is Bird's best friend. And look at those faces. Diana is known for her faces. That is just precious. I love these. Love, love, love them. While I'm telling you this, I want to remind you one more time. Don't use Sharpies when you go to do the eyes, and unless you have to. When you go to do the eyes and the buttons on there, use an Identi-Pen. Use, y'all name some of the others. But just, oh, here they are. A Micron works. Identi-Pen works. And this thing called fabric marker. I got this from Amazon. Works beautifully. The problem with Sharpies on fabric, they tend to bleed. So, okay, that's block number 3. Now, I don't have the vinyl on 2 of these blocks yet. Here is block number 4, or as we call it, Willow's first snowman. We name this after Willow. Now, some of you might like how it looks without the vinyl, and that's fine. Before you quilt it, just go around and do a light zigzag or use invisible thread. Okay, because I will tell you, even if you use the best fusibles don't hold on to flannel, wool, and felt very well. So do definitely sew it down. here we go with block number 5. And this is the skating snowman. And I had someone say, what is he holding in his hand? It is a rotary cutter. We do need to ask Diana Bicknell, why would she let him skate with a sharp implement? But I think that is precious. Isn't that cute? That is so cute. So that's block number 5. And then the final one, my favorite, is block number 6. And this is a snow lady. And she's got her sewing machine. Whoops, I've got it turned. Okay. She's got her sewing machine and a basket of fabric. Now, I added the basket of fabric, but everything else is Miss Diana's amazing design. And which brings me to feel free to turn any pattern, any project, and add something that's just you, because you will love it even more. Okay? So this is the one I just put vinyl on. The vinyl is stuck really well. It's working. I had bought this vinyl a few years ago, and what I was doing with it, the reason I bought it is I wanted to use some really pretty fabric for tote, but I knew the cotton wouldn't hold up. It was so beautiful. It was digitally printed. I bought this because I was going to fuse it, the vinyl over it, and that way the tote would be really hard wearing. Well, this came up. Hello, I can go back and get more Pellon 100 fusible vinyl, but I was talking to Diana B, and she said, this would be cute. Okay, hi, Barbara Smith. Here it is. It's Pellon 100 vinyl fuse gloss, and I would definitely get the gloss because if you're going to use it for this project, you want it to look like shiny glass. Just please know that you have to use protective paper, like the protective paper that comes off the vinyl. Let me show you this, because this will help. Whoops. And I'll show you more in detail, but here it is. And the vinyl is kind of sticky, and it comes on this paper. The side of the paper that's next to the vinyl is non-stick. So you can use that to iron it once you've taken the vinyl off the paper, or you can use a silicone sheet or a Teflon sheet. Just don't touch the vinyl to the iron. Now, if you just use a piece of muslin, I have a feeling the vinyl will stick to the muslin. So, wax paper, if you're really a desperate, parchment paper might do it. Try to pick something that's not going to stick. All right. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Miss Mary. That's exactly. Okay. So, I'm going to do these last 2 ornaments the snow globes with you, because I just thought I would show you once again, what is it like if I use that? And I want you to know. But before we do that, I want to show you something. I'm cheap. Cheap as they come. Cheap. So when I get a package from Amazon or anywhere else, Walmart, whatever, it comes with these sheets of tissue paper. Guess what? They're printer size, regular page letter size tissue paper. So I said, I'm going to try something. I want to print my own pictures to put on these ornaments. And I'd like to get some pictures of my grandsons to put on ornaments so they'll have something custom just for them. So I took this normally thrown away tissue, or maybe somebody throws them away. I never do, because you can always stuff a box again with them. All right. Then I took this, I cut a piece of freezer paper, that same exact size, or if anything, a little touch bigger. Just, you don't want to get freezer paper wax or whatever it is on your, and I'm only showing you this now because I found that it really works. All right, So I lay this tissue on the freezer paper on the sticky, shiny side. Okay? I come in with my iron. Now, I've already used this once, and I'll show you, because you can use freezer paper a few times before it loses its stick. So now I've ironed it with a regular, cotton setting. And look, the tissue paper has now become stuck to the freezer paper. Now it's stiff enough, you can roll it through the printer and print whatever you want on it. Now, let me show you what I got. I went online and found pictures, and then I did a little bit of editing. But see these? So then if you take one of those clear balls, you can now put some glue, or with this, you might just make sure it's not too thick. And make sure it's a glue that's going to fully dry clear. So you might want to use, if you have any little clear acrylic sealer, you might want to use that. But look at these. This is going to be for Mark and I. My son who loves cats, my daughter who is a shepherdess, my daughter-in-law who plays a beautiful violin. Now I can make them an ornament that says something just to them. Of course, you see the flamingos. Got to have flamingos. So, is this the coolest thing? Yes, freezer paper has a shiny side that's either plastic or it's wax, and it will, if you iron the shiny side to the back of fabric or tissue paper or whatever you need to run through a printer, it will adhere to the fabric or the tissue and allow you to print on it. So now all I do is I cut out these little things and then put them, look at that, put them on the Christmas ball. And probably to make it even stronger, so light doesn't go all the way through it, some of these I'll put either paint on the back of the tissue so it becomes more opaque, but I wanted the tissue because you could print on regular paper, but it's hard to get it to conform. With tissue paper, I was thinking about decoupage with paper napkins. With tissue paper, you can make it bend and conform, or it'll do little creases you don't notice. So, I'm hoping I just taught you something new. Now, y'all are so smart. You probably have seen it before, but I figured it out and thought I was smart. So, here we go. I want to show you, remind me to show you this. It's just a good hint or trick. This, when I went to the retreat, after I finished the snow globe quilt, I started working on my son's wedding quilt. And Mark said, "Oh, his wedding, when's his wedding?" You know, it was 5 years ago. But here is part of what I have put together. You can see it's longer than tall, but here's part of what I put together for he and his wife. And I gathered the fabrics over time, so I didn't have enough to do just one thing. But I want to show you up close. All the fabric has something to do with music because they're both professional musicians. So he's a drummer and she's a string player and vocalist. So everything has something to do. There's a turquoise blue. They both have cats they love dearly. And the cats are playing jazz. Unfortunately, I'm trying to find here is something with the cats, but the cats are really cool cats playing jazz. But anyway, so I'm making a big move to get some of my UFOs done and to the people that I love and want them to have. So what I was going to show you is I started off, that's a double wedding ring quilt. I started off with a white musical pattern and a black musical pattern. And these squares go together for the center. You know how you have the arcs and they come together with these squares. I ran out of black musical fabric. So when I was working on that at the retreat, I had some of this, but it just doesn't have the same punch to it. So I went online and looking for black background musical notes fabric. And aw, thank you. Thank you. And this was from Etsy. And I could buy a fat quarter of this for but there was no shipping. So fat quarter tax, $3.75. That's wonderful. I don't need a whole yard of it. I just needed some. So I just bought this last weekend. It's already here. I've already cut the 2-inch blocks needed. And now I can replace these because as I was sewing on it, I said, oh, I don't like that replacement black. So just think of people on Etsy who are willing to just not much shipping, because if you tried to order that from a regular fabric store, you're going to pay shipping. And so for $3.75, I'm very happy. Also, don't forget, we have a Thursday night project going. And here it is. It's a Thursday night project. And I've got to add a darker blue in here. I needed another blue. But this is going to be a Christmas tree standing out in the woods all by itself. So I have horizontal curves. And if you look at Thursday night show, I show you how easy it is to cut them and put them in there. And then I am going to, starting tomorrow, I'm going to figure out how to do the tree. It's going to be kind of a tall, I'd like to think that I bring some boughs out, but it's going to be curved. So I've got to draw it. I've got to figure it out. This one may have to have template pieces because the horizontal, that's easy to do those curves freehand. But I'm thinking I'd like this tree to have curves like this. Down as a slant, and this side down at a slant. So cross your fingers. I'm going to try to draw it and make pattern or template pieces. I will make sure that anybody that wants one can have it. So we'll finish that this Thursday. And then I need to take a break. So I hope you won't mind. But this Thursday night, I'm taking a break. We'll do this Thursday night show. Then I'm going to take a break until January 5th. Still going to do my Sunday shows. And except Mark said, hon, Christmas is on Sunday this year. I said, really? He said, yes. So I won't do a Christmas Day show. And I feel like that we can all, if we don't have family up, we'll just all kind of slug it out on the couch watching funny movies. So I won't do that Sunday, but otherwise I'll be here on Sunday. Okay. But when we do start up January 5th, do not forget we're going to start with a new landscape. So I've had so many requests for landscapes. I know that is your favorite thing. All right, so what I'm going to do now is we're going to go and look at your show and tell. And I don't have as many. I had to do some culling. So send me pictures of your work. I love to show it. Send me pictures of your Christmas decorations. Send me pictures of the favorite thing you love baking. Whatever it is, yes, on January 5th, and that's Thursday night only. I'm going to do this Thursday, and then we'll take a break. So this Thursday is what date? What is today? The 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Okay, we're going to do a show December 8th, but we won't do them the next two. All right, guys. So, and when we come back, I'm going to show you how I cut this out, how I decorate, how I iron it on. I'm going to show you step by step so you will feel comfortable to do it. I have all these snowmen getting in my way. Aren't they cute? And you know what? I'm such a child at heart, or as I say, I'm very much in touch with my inner child. And so look at this, a bowl full of snow people. All righty, let's go see what you've been doing. I love seeing what you've been doing. It's not too late to get your own free pattern of our Snow Globe quilt designed by Miss Diana Bicknell. And just send me an email to OurTimeToQuilt@twc.com, and I will send you all the pattern. And feel free to share it. I think Diana should go into designing for real. And so, but this one is free with all of our blessing. All right, let's go look at pictures. Pictures. Come on. Come on. Here we go. All right. Let me see something real quick. Did I put pictures in here? Yes. Oh, they're all crooked. Never mind. I'll straighten them out before I show them to you. But I was going to show you the final pictures that I took of the quilt. All right. Here we go. Whoop. All right, let's see who our first person. Oh, if Annette Parsons comes by again, I am interested in selling my Elna. I thought I would use it more than I have, but if she comes by, please know, Annette, if you're still interested, I'm ready. Okay, here is Miss Betty Middleton's amazing Christmas decorations. Look how easily you can bring a smile to someone's face. I think this is a wooden ball. And then she has wrapped wire to make the arms, doll hair. Look at these cute beads. Then she has used artificial flower petals as a skirt, sequins as the top, and the leaves off of artificial flowers as wings. These are the cutest Christmas angels. Look at this. Look at this one. She's even got a wand now. She made a wand for her. So how cute is that? Looks like poinsettia leaves for her wings, poinsettia leaves for her skirt. I love that. And I bet you Betty Middleton painted those wonderful faces too. So I'm going to go through and show you these. If you think sometime I'd love to make something, but I don't know what to make, I think take a page out of Miss Betty's book. She's used everything from wool to artificial hair to DMC floss braided for the hair. And I love all the little doodads, taking gold thread to make her little booties, little ribbon roses. So, there is creativity to be had all around us. And, I don't know about you, but I love making enough things that if I see somebody that just makes me smile, who I don't even have to know, I give them one of my Christmas gifts. Some little thing I made from the heart. Not worth anything monetarily, but worth a lot of love. Isn't that cute? Look at that little gingerbread man button and the little gift button. So just remember that. And anybody else, if you have any really good or any Christmas ornaments that you make that you'd like to share, please do. Here we are with Miss Carol's beautiful work. This woman is a true artist. Isn't that wonderful? This is a purse made out of a pair of jeans, and look at the nice pockets in that. Isn't that amazing? I love her. Old Janome is that featherweight. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, here is another picture of that purse with the pockets. I think that's a grand idea. I love she left the little Dickies tag there. She knows how to make the folded stars. So maybe I might test her brain. As soon as I get my fabric in from Joann, we'll be ready to do it. Look at this. Isn't that a wonderful hand-done embroidered Christmas ornament? Look at her hand embroidery. Just beautiful. Here she keeps a scroll calendar and whatever she thinks of or enjoys doing along the way. Isn't that beautiful? I love her Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Is perfection. I love the cocoa, the hot cocoa over here with the stuffing froth at the top. I'm going to steal some of her ideas to use to finish up my Alex Anderson hand embroidery thing. But I got to be honest, I can't do bullions like that. I have tried. I'm no good at them. And then she did a template, a stencil painting. Look at that. Isn't that great? It's a lot of fun. Let me see. And then I think the last was one more shot of that wonderful cup of cocoa with using floss. She made a candy cane in it and a little peppermint candy down here. I love that. Thank you, Miss Carol. Oh, one more shot of her Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Isn't that great? I love it. I love it. Okay, let's see who's next. Somebody is trying to get my attention on the phone. Let me see. I'm sure it's not anything too important, but just in case, okay, I think I'm fine. I don't answer my home phone anymore, so then I have to remember. Oh, I do want to show you this. Mark sent some pictures of what the pine straw spreaders, whoops, hold on. It will look this beautiful for about 1 week. I don't know if I've got it right. Okay, see what they do? You can see that hill. That's just a monster hill to deal with. And you can see also why we have to have so many bales. But they come and they roll it and they put it down everywhere. It's just really, really nice. So, thank you, Mark, for sending those pictures. What else did he? Let me see. I thought he sent 2. Oh, here is the grommet after he has been digging. So we are very determined to find whatever it is he's digging in, because he has to have a bath every time he does that. And he knows he shouldn't do it. Oh, here's the other side of the driveway. But see, that is very worth it. Isn't that great? It makes my yard look much prettier than it even is. Because trust me, I see all of the oopsies, you know. So that is so nice. I'm so glad I was able to show you those. Oh, here's another shot. You see, now he didn't want to spend that much money to have it done, but now you can see he's right proud, isn't he? Isn't that cute? All right. Yep. It feels good when, you hate spending the money, but then you realize it's for very good reason. Oh my gosh. Is he sending me yet another picture? I think that, oh goodness gracious. I shouldn't have turned that thing up. Now he's going to drive me nuts. I'm very glad he's very happy with it. Here's right up by the front door. And then here's... So what we should do is sell the house real quick while it looks good. So, okay. This is Miss... hold on. Miss Charlene Piper's wonderful mohair bears. I've always wanted to make things like this, but boy, that any kind of fur just breaks me out. But look how wonderful these bears are. Look at that sweet face. Oh gosh, that is just wonderful. Look at that. Oh wow. That is fantastic. I love her bears. Beautiful work, Miss Charlene Piper. I love it. You're a very talented woman. I think we have several people who do craft shows. Wanted to show one more time Miss Danielle from France, her amazing fall table runner. What a good job. What a good job. All right, who next? I just have a couple little things. If it weren't for my kids, I'd have nothing to show you. Because Mark and I, it's just enough just to clean the house and do the groceries. This is my daughter. She is a ballroom dancer, and she went dancing last night to a big masquerade ball. And this is my son, my two grandsons, and my daughter-in-law, Nikki. Love those babies. My daughter's tree. Oh, okay, this one's not quite done. Here it is, all done. Don't you love Christmas trees? Love that. The other daughter hosted Thanksgiving and just set a beautiful table. She's my artist's daughter. Both of them are very talented. There they are. This is Becky and that's Katie. Beautiful, talented girls. Becky is standing with her brother Christopher and his wife Nikki and two sons. And here are my three kids. Oldest, next, and the baby of the family. This is Becky and her daughter Charlie. And they went out and got their tree. Charlie looking at her like, why do you have to take a picture when I'm holding this heavy tree? I love that expression. Isn't that cute? And then here is Becky's house, all decorated. I wonder if I could ask her to come do my house. I bet you she'd say no. All right, that's it. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I'm sorry. Here, she put, instead of wearing a mask, she did jewels on her face. That's really pretty. And that's one of her friends at dance class. She said she danced for 5 hours. Look at that. Isn't that pretty how those jewels look? I wonder if they come, you peel them off and put them on, but that's really pretty. So, one last photo of the three amigos. Those are my babies. 44, 41, and 36. Gosh, I'm old. Okay, and then my daughter Becky holding my grandson Donnie. And Katie, look at what she did. She knitted a bunch of Christmas trees for her craft show she does every year. Isn't that great? And then she made these cute felted ornaments. Oh, they're precious. She's so talented. All right, that's it for Deb. Thank you to my kids for supplying me with something to show. All right, and let's see. Whoops. Okay. What? Oh, that's because I've got to get back out here. Okay, Debbie. Debbie, I love this. I was doing some cleaning out, but this is so pretty. The batiks are amazing in this quilt. And on these gray days that have started already, it's so nice to see color like this. It looks like an ice cream sherbet party. Beautiful, Debbie. All right, let's see who else. Diana. Now, you want to know how we knew early on that this woman knows her snow people? Look at these things, and she designs her own snow people, and they're so cute. They're so cute. She is so talented, and her eyes are kind of her signature thing. And, her whole faces, they just have such expression. And I think that's one of the reasons that everyone that sees them just loves them. And I love that her cardinal is singing his little heart out. And here is her snow woman and machine. Everybody loves their sewing machine. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Now see, she doesn't have the vinyl over it, but she was still able to do these snowflakes, and it's wonderful. Just wonderful. And here is, let me pull back so you can see, this is her quilt in progress. She's going to be putting lace snowflakes in her borders. Really, really cute. And she did 2 different color backgrounds. I like that. Really makes some pop. So very talented, Diana, and we can't thank her enough. She joins the group and immediately starts designing for us. Now, I challenge you to send me your Christmas trees before and after. Here is her before, Miss Dolores's, and look after. And they live in a historic house, so it's really cool to see some of the things that she does in her beautiful home. But isn't that pretty? That is an artist's Christmas tree. Then here is one of her commissioned works. Look at that. Look at the way that she replicates the fur. Look at the thread painting, the highlighting. That tongue looks so real. This woman is so talented. Look at this portrait she did, a commissioned portrait. And to have it look at that butterfly is perfection. I love it. And then look at the fabric collar. Look at all the thread painting. Oh boy, wouldn't it be great if she taught us thread painting? Now, this, she was telling me, is her bathroom sink. They needed to do something with the counter, but didn't right now want to spend the money on an expensive piece of marble or something. So what she did is she painted that. She painted that. Those fish look so real. Betty, you know you did a beautiful job painting fish, but don't they look absolutely real? My gosh, I love that. I couldn't wait to show y'all that one. It's in our group in Miss Dolores, Dolores, in her photo album this week. Here is, this bird is called I wrote it down here. Where is it? A Gende. It's a Gende parrot named Skittles. And look at that. And she said the body is kind of like rounded and full. It kind of comes forward if you see it in person. But is that exquisite? This woman is so, so talented. Thank you so much, Miss Dolores. It's always wonderful seeing your work. Now, she's taking a class from someone. Oh, I tried to remember it. Oh, wait a minute. I know one thing I did do. I put it, Sophie Standing. I named the picture so I could help remember. Look at the work she is doing in the class by Sophie Standing. Look at all of this. Then look, it's a collage for the feathers, and she's going to soon start on the feathers. But taking classes, even with all her talent, she still takes classes. And oh my gosh, that's amazing. That is gorgeous. So keep us posted on that. We love seeing your work. Okay, let me go. Isn't that amazing? Okay, Miss Jody. Okay, everyone listen up. I've got something to tell you about Miss Jody. Here is her block of the month for last year from the Quilt Show. Here is her block of the month from a European folk Christmas quilt. And then look what Miss Jody is now working on. I'm hoping that camera can focus. Miss Jody is working on I would almost call it a postage stamp quilt. Miss Jody loves shirting fabrics so much. Shirting fabrics, you might have to look them up to see what they are, but they are fabrics that were used especially during the 1800s for dresses and men's shirts. So they usually have small, repetitive little designs, little flowers, little stripes. And I asked her, because she needs to have over 5,000 pieces, if I remember right. I asked her if I could mail her some of my shirtings. She said, sure. She needs 2-inch blocks of shirting. If you're not sure if you're a good cutter, make them 2.5 inches and she can trim them down. But now, if she needs it differently, hopefully she'll tell me. But 2-inch blocks of shirtings. She is loving doing this. And I thought, what a great fun thing. If you would like to contribute shirting fabrics, and look them up if you're not sure exactly what a shirting is. But if you'd like to contribute, you can put them in a regular envelope and mail them. You could probably put 10 in an envelope with regular stamp, so it's not going to be an expensive thing. But I had a friend in my group, and I still love this woman. She did a postage stamp quilt, and she wanted to make sure that no fabrics were repeated, and she needed thousands of squares. So she said, if any of you would like to contribute some squares so that I can make sure none of them are the same. So I said, hey, why don't we help Miss Jody? Because maybe then we can do it for one of us. So I think that would be fun. So if you would like to contribute shirtings, then contact me, and if you're in our group, I'll give you her address. You could just mail it right to her. All right, thank you, Miss Jody. But I said, is it okay if I, mention to the group? Because what a way to collect a beautiful assortment, and everybody can cut a 2-inch square or 3-inch square. This is from Miss Mary. Someone asked her to do a Holly Thelma block. Isn't this cute? This is Thelma Lou, Holly Thelma Lou. And evidently the friend was making a block. And is this the cutest thing? I love that Miss Mary can just tackle it now, boy. She's got good talent there. So thank you, Miss Mary. All right. Whoop, I shouldn't have done that. I always forget to do that. We're almost done, but let me run back long enough. Whoops, not that one. Here we go. All right, that was Miss Mary's. Now, Miss Melanie, I did save one picture of the puppy because I hope Miss Diana doesn't mind. I said the puppy with the snowman is on Melanie's Miss Willow. Isn't she precious? I love those eyes. This is her granddaughter, Stella, and this quilt was made by Melanie's husband. Was it Dan or Don? Anyway, the grandpa to Stella. Look at this. Then this is the binding tool star that we made in this group about a year ago. She's had it professionally quilted. Now look at that. It is beautiful. I love the colors, and it really highlights that room. Brilliant job. Okay, and there's Miss Stella. She looks very happy with her own quilt. Isn't that nice? Not many grandchildren have a quilt made by Grandpa. You gotta love it. All right. Now, for people who might not have been here earlier when I showed Miss Melton's projects, here, we'll run through them real quick again. I love it. She asked me, do I have talent? I said, oh, yes, lots and lots of talent. This is to remind us of the purity of childhood, where you just take the time to blow bubbles. And then here is her quilt, very concerning water pollution. And I just love that she has a signature already. So we welcome her to our group. I think she came looking for knowledge. I think she's going to be teaching us. Miss Miriam, I haven't heard from Miss Miriam in a while, but I love her pieces of art. I just love seeing what people keep their hands busy with, and their sense of humor, their take on life. Look at those knitting baskets. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Look at the pup. But there is so much talent in this world, and so much wonderful to be so happy with. So, gotta love it. Thank you, Miss Miriam. Now, let me see. So Euphoria, Miss Nancy Lynn. Don't forget, she has her own site, just like our Carol does. Our Carol has her YouTube site. Very talented woman. Okay. She's now known as Canadian Artisan, but I'm not sure if her site still is The Magical Touch. I love this bookcase. Isn't that wonderful? And she has So Euphoria, a site on YouTube. Love it, love it, love it. Very nice. And won a first place ribbon. My goodness. Love that. Okay. Miss Nazi sent some amazing things. Here is a panel quilt. Wonderful. Welcome Harvest. But look at these art quilts. This is going to be an Art Quilt Thursday future. We're going to make our own 3-piece quilt. So be thinking about how you want to design your own. I love this. Look at these ornaments. Folded star. And I love this swirl table runner. That is wonderful. She has an eye for color and shape. Beautiful, Miss Nazen. All right, I think Miss Polly is our last person. And Miss Polly has been looking at this quilt. This quilt was designed by Erica Capro, and it's from her book, Everything's Blooming, 30 Floral Wool Applique Blocks. And Miss Polly was saying she's sure you could use regular fabric too. Absolutely. Isn't that beautiful? Also, Miss Polly is about finished with her Sharon Knightley or Sharon Kitely quilt design. And she has done an outstanding job of her applique. Way to go. Isn't that beautiful? It's machine applique. You know, it used to be everything was thought to be by hand. Nope. It's, as they always say, finished is better than perfect. Finished is better than snobbery. Because back in the day when I started quilting, a long, long time ago, before 1990, in the 1980s, everything was judged. You felt like if you weren't perfect, then it wasn't worth showing. But you know what? That's not true. And people felt like if it wasn't hand quilted, it wasn't worthy. Wrong. If your lines crossed when you were doing the quilting, nope, no good. Wrong. So, you know, I love now everything goes. That's true of art. Art is in the eye of the beholder, and that's very, very true. Oh, thank you, Miss Carol. Kim is here. Hey! Which machine? Let me see. Oh. What? Oh, thank you for asking that. Let me type it in. It is Pearl and June. And that's on Etsy. And she's an amazing artist. She does felt art. She makes goat milk soap, homemade goat milk soap. She does the knitted Christmas trees, felted ornaments. I mean, she does so many things. Those wonderful Santas on a wreath, you know, oh, those beautiful Santas. So talented girl. Pearl and June is her site. So, oh, you're very welcome, sweetheart. Any other questions that you have? Any other questions? I love that you have spent this time with me. So I'll tell you what, we have just a couple minutes. I'll go ahead. For any of you who don't have to rush yet, I will show you. Let me see if I can get this camera not to droop. I will show you how I decorate the snow globes. All right. I will quickly take, where are my paper scissors? I will quickly cut out the snow globe part and cut it down just a little bit longer right here. And don't forget, when you get the pattern for the snow globe, we give you all of these templates. So don't worry, you don't have to make this up. Miss Diana spent so much time doing all of this for us. The actual snowman pieces, she already reversed them so that by the time you do them, they'll come out to look just like the photos. She just handled all of it. Okay, so now I take this, I come over to the fusible. I guess I can take that bolt out of it now, just to remind you one more time. It's Pellon 100 Vinyl Fuse Gloss. Pellon Style 100. And I've been very impressed with it. All right, so I take this pattern, lay it here by the edge. I go on the paper side because that's easier to draw on and cut on. And I just come in here with this pencil and go around. Okay. All right. So now take some old scissors to cut through real quickly. Okay. And I save all those scraps because I can use the scraps of these to make little projects. Whoops. Okay. Come on. The vinyl doesn't want to stay open. It's been wrapped around that bolt a couple of years. I probably bought this vinyl 5 years ago. And yeah, it had to have been at least 5 years ago. Whenever the City Lights by Hoffman came out, that's when I bought this vinyl. All right, so now we get all my stuff. And don't forget, even if I've already sent you all the patterns, write me back for the snow globe final directions. Okay, let me grab my snow globe quilt. One thing I found, if you put the vinyl on the snow globes, do not crunch up your quilt. The vinyl will get wrinkled. So what I would do is fold it in thirds like this so the vinyl is never creased, you know, because you don't want it to get all wrinkly. That takes away the beauty of it. All right. So now I've got this, and I forgot on this one, I was supposed to put a little shadow mark on, so let me grab a little piece of fabric to do my, I can probably lift it back up, but I'm going to cut out a little piece of white fabric to do the little glint of, this really helps it look three-dimensional. And in fact, I do believe that she puts these shapes in the patterns too. I think she does. But, oh, we got so lucky having Diana design this for us. So, so lucky. Okay, I'll run this here. Run this here. And by using the vinyl, now I am going to tell you, you don't just get to iron the vinyl and walk away. What I'm then going to do is either take white, probably white thread, and do another zigzag around. But, now, whoops, I'm going to have to make this one go way over here. Okay. I'm going to put just the tiniest little bit of just a little tiny glue. I don't want it wet with the glue. Okay. And I think what I'm going to do, let me see. Run it just, I don't want it to run it on top of the snowman because it's so darn cute. All right. So there we go. Then I need to just, see how I told you that the fusible doesn't work well on wool because that's pure wool. and it wants to come up. Now, what I'm going to do, I've had one of these cans of sulky temporary adhesive for a good number of years. Use it with good ventilation, people. Don't do as I do. Use better common sense. And I'm going to just drop a couple of these snowflakes around. And you can drop them on top of the snowman too. He won't mind. But I just have an assortment of some little things. And they're really cute. Make sure that whatever you don't want on here is removed. Like some of these threads. All right. Now, I'm going to get this one going. Oh, I know why this wouldn't come out. It's got a little paper cap on it. Okay. All right. Look. Okay. So put the sprinkles on here. In fact, let me bring it closer. Oh, don't you fall. Do not fall. My camera's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take a dive, but yay. All right. So put some good sprinkles on here. Come on. I know you can work now. I don't like temperamental glitter. All right. This glitter really shows up well. So let me put some of this on. And I try not to put any glitter. Whoops, come on. I try not to put any glitter where his eyes or words on a sign. Try not to put any glitter there. Get it off the special drawn areas. Okay? So there's some of that. And then these are all slightly different glitters, so they each add something. All right. Like I said, keep it off of his eyes and mouth, because once you put the vinyl on, it'll prevent it from showing. So now any glitter that overshot, you can kind of just make it go back on. Here is my ironing sheet. Let me make sure my iron is on. And then it's just a matter of peeling up the corner to get the protective paper off the vinyl. Come on. I know I can do it. Here we go. What I did is what I do with fusibles. Just kind of act like I'm going to tear it. And then the vinyl stays put and the paper tears. So now lay it, but don't move it around much because it's going to grab onto that glitter. It's a little bit sticky on its own. All right, so I'm making sure it's got an even edge around it. They said you could use this paper. I would put the iron on this side, not in this shiny side is the side that goes to the vinyl. But since I want to be extra careful, I'm going to put this here and come in and carefully, don't over iron it, but carefully over the protected sheet. Okay. Making sure to get those edges really good, because the edges will hold in all of the pieces and the glitter. You have, if you go to put vinyl on, you read your instructions that I wrote today, but it says you must, if you're going to put vinyl on, you must quilt it first. Okay. Oh, the iron came with my dried flowers. Okay. So now what I'm going to do Let me see if turning this light on might help. What I'm going to do is carefully roll this back, and you can kind of see where the vinyl even sticks to this Teflon sheet. So you just carefully rub down like this to make sure that all of this warm, malleable vinyl wants to stick to the fabric. You kind of massage it down. And you can sew, yes, you can sew. You can sew on this vinyl. It's made to be sewn on. So when I go around and I do the zigzag around this, and you just gently, see how gently I'm pulling it? Because when this vinyl is this hot, it's a little delicate. It toughens up soon as it cools. But making sure it's all down around the edge. And there you go. And let me hold it up so you can kind of see. Isn't that neat? And it holds all the glitter right in place, like you've just shaken it. So that's something that, I thought about. And it might be gilding the lily. Some of you might go, oh, I don't need that. Okay, Deb, were we going to do the tall? Yeah, no. What we're doing on Thursday is that curvy landscape that I have. I'll show it to you in just a minute. And it's going to have one tall tree, but the one that I gave you sneak peeks of today is next Sunday, because this is now finished. I'm just going to be putting the binding on. I'm going to go ahead and do this last block while I've got everything laid out, while I'm here, let me do this last block. But I will show you, if you go back to Thursday night, you'll see the landscape. It's a curvy, easy cut landscape piece. And we're going to finish that on Thursday night. And we're going to I've got to design the tree to go on that. And, okay, don't cut over where you're going to put the vinyl, or else you'll have the threads all over it. So all right, so this, I'm going to put, what did I do with that glue? Oh, here it is. Just remember, when you're going to put the vinyl over it, don't put much glue, because it's going to have a hard time drying. It can dry out the back of the fabric, but not easily. So, whoops, this is too long. Oh. All right. So just gently lay this down. I like this because this really adds that three-dimensional shape, although it is, hold on. I know I often tell you, oh, don't worry about it being perfect, but I tend to, about some things, be a little bit of a perfectionist myself. All right, picking off any threads, and now get this can. Luckily, I've got a fan right down here by me, and I'm very well ventilated because I don't trust these adhesives. I have asthma, and so any of you that have had asthma, you understand. You can't take a chance with your breathing. Okay, so just drop these around. And don't overdo it. One of the things I'm trying to learn at this late stage in life is how to be a little bit more circumspect. It's not easy. Because, in Deb's book, if a little bit is good, a whole lot is a whole lot better. So, and I'm trying to learn. Okay, so just kind of scattered about like that. And then Okay. That white glitter really shows up good. The translucent glitter gives good shine, but the white glitter really shows up. And I use 3 different types. This is more of a translucent. This is more of an iridescent. This is a translucent. And then the white is definitely white. Okay, put a little bit of this on here. And remember, don't get it on the dog's face or the snowman's eyes. Don't get it on the important things that you want to be able to see clearly. All right? Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I have these little sequins too, and they're cute. I'll put a few of these little sequins. Okay. All right. And this is where you can get a little creative, you know, kind of look around and see where you want to put them. If you have any questions, I will make sure to look and answer them. I need to cut out one more piece. Not good. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, I laid it down here on the floor. Need to cut out one more piece of this real quickly. Let me see how quickly I can get this. Well, I was going to try to just do it by freehand, but that's a little too risky. This is so wonderful of a quilt. Every time I've thought of taking a shortcut, I'm like, really? Not with this quilt. This is a keeper, and I knew as soon as I saw it, I thought this is going to be the quilt of the year. And as I said in my directions that I worked up today, don't think that this is the only time you're going to do this, because I bet you anything I'm going to have some of my kids say, oh, I wish I had a quilt like that. You want to take odds? Because I have a feeling, you know, certain ones, they're like, oh, Mom. So come along here and push all the glitter, any glitter that overshot, push it back on the work. I hate wasting glitter, and I don't like it to fall places I have to clean it up. So get it back on. Then what I did before is just kind of act like I'm doing going to tear it, and the paper gives way before the vinyl. So then you just reach in and pull the paper away from the vinyl. Well, at least it's supposed to do that. Okay. Yeah, I got it. I was worried for a minute. Okay, and there is a sticky side of the vinyl. So the sticky side goes down. And you just lay it gently, making sure you've got equal coverage all around the edge. Isn't that nice and easy? Then you come in here with your cover right here. Then you iron it down. And I mainly love not having to try to do raw edge applique around all those little parts of the snowman. And I mainly, like I showed you before, is I focus on all the edges really good, because that's the main important part. Do not overdo this. Just make sure it's just hot enough to kind of get it melty. I think I'm probably pretty good right now. All right. So then what I do is I start to roll it back and watch. When you start seeing the glitter, then you know that vinyl is there and it wants to stick. Be careful, this sheet gets hot. It wants to stick to the sheet. But if you just take and roll it back down on the fabric, this is why it's important to do right away. I would never let it cool and then try to take the sheet off. Never. Because when it cools, it loses that elasticity. It loses that ability to really be malleable, and that way you can get it, rub it in the right direction. While it's hot, it will stick. But like I said, don't count on this alone to stick the vinyl down. Don't count on this alone, because like anything, those fusibles don't always handle the wear and tear, the folding and the unfolding. So go along the edge with a zigzag stitch. I think I would use white. And the reason is because then that'll make the globe itself pop. When I was doing the fabric, I used white and it really looked good. So, okay. And you just press, you just keep pressing it in while it's cooling. And it'll stick. And this one is nice and stuck on. And now this one. So now all of my snow globes are firmly down. All right. Yeah, you can use any kind of pressing sheet that you would use for applique. So it could be a silicone sheet. It could be a special nonstick paper. It could be Teflon. They're out there and they're not expensive, maybe $7, $8. All right, here we go with all of them now with the vinyl on. Okay, I hope you enjoyed seeing that, and I'm very appreciative of Diana for this design. Ah, I love it. So, and if you decide to give it to your group or something, just remember to put on there that you found this from Our Time to Quilt on YouTube, designed by Diana Bicknell and me, Deb. So let me find my little mouse. But see how that was fun and easy. And then I will want to zigzag around and cut off any that if I have a little bit extra. But then I just put the binding on it and it's good. You notice I hadn't done the binding yet, because until the snowmen are really firmly down, running around the sewing machine would tend to make some of the snowmen people lift off. Now, let's say you're not doing vinyl. Then before you quilt it, take and stitch every piece down to make sure they don't fall off. So it's just an order of when you do it. You would zigzag them with invisible thread. You would do that before you quilt, unless you're going to put vinyl on. Vinyl you do after you quilt. Okay? All right. Oh, thank you, Kim. That's what I meant them to be. Aren't they cute? I wanted a scalloped edge, and then when I found this fabric, I said, oh my gosh, they could look like little mountains. kind of goes with the whole snow thing. And I was telling you in the instructions, I kind of just let them do whatever around the corner. If you're not a person who can just let things kind of be and decide, okay, this is how I'm going to get around the corner here, then you could put a cornerstone in the block and just stop the mountains on each side. But I thought, let the mountains kind of just dribble around the corner. But thank you. That's just what I wanted it to look like. And you'll see here, I tried to do a snowy wind above the mountains and then just do mountain echoes with the quilting. Then this was like a feather, but more like open. I'll show you on the back. More like I call it a candy cane feather. Then around each of the globes, I did more intense quilting because the more you do, the tighter quilting you do around the globe, the more it really emphasizes that globe popping out at you. So that's what I did. And I could show you a zillion mistakes on it because I was in a big hurry. But I figured, like, if you come over my house and you want to look at this and you point out a mistake, you shouldn't be here. Also, who's going to look at such a cute quilt and say, I see a mistake? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'll give you a margarita and then say, now look at it and see if you see the mistake. But anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this today. Let me see. And I just wanted to tell you that I am signing up for a class at the Mancuso, the virtual schoolhouse, for the end of January, and they're already planning the next one. So that's really good news. They've already planning virtual schoolhouse number 4. So if we keep taking the classes, they'll keep having them. And that's wonderful. I love staying home and taking a class in my own surroundings. Sometimes it's fun to be in a classroom, but how far away is it? What's it going to take? All right, I think we are done. Don't forget, if you want to share shirtings with Miss Jody, next week I'll bring some shirting fabric over with me. I forgot today. And I'll actually show you what are some good shirtings. What do you mean by shirting? But just know that it's fabric that in the 1800s they used for men's shirts and women's dresses. Because, they used to have those day dresses out of what they called a muslin, what we refer to as a calico. And so they just were simple cotton fabric with not a lot of decoration, not a lot of color, and it was good for everyday wear. So, all right. Any questions? Yes, Debbie, I have got some margarita mix upstairs in the refrigerator. You come on over and, we'll drink a few sips of that margarita, and who cares about the quilt after that? I love that, sweetie pie. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I surprised Mark, I guess about a month ago. And whoops, I'm sorry. And I stopped my first time ever at a liquor store. I stopped there and bought us margarita mix. Came home and he was like, you got this? You did this? And I can't drink much. I only have one kidney left. But sometimes the girls just got to have fun. Oh, y'all are so cute. Y'all are so cute. Yeah, bring Kim with you. Pick her up along the way. She's a lot of fun. All right, everybody, you're the best. Thank you for a wonderful, fun day. And any questions or anything, my email address. Just send them to me. And it's been I've had a blast today. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. And send pictures of your Christmas tree, because I'm getting mine Tuesday, and I'll take pictures of mine too. Maybe this year I'll finally get it fully decorated. Mike, things can happen. Take care. You are the best. Take good care of yourself. Do something just for you. You deserve it. Bye-bye. See you Thursday night and next Sunday.